hands on the hips. Let's roll the hips, starting to wake up the hips and work through any tension there. And roll the other way. And then let's do a little pelvic tilt where we act like our hips are a bucket of water and we're tipping that bucket of water to the front and to the back. Just trying to move through that low back. It's almost kind of like a standing upright cat-cow. Good. And then let's roll one shoulder back, moving at the elbow, bend at the elbow, and roll back. And then if it feels okay, you can extend that arm more. Big, deep, full breaths. Think about how that movement is helping to open those ribs and how opening those ribs helps us take a better breath. Then let's take that arm and reach across like we're swimming across, opening up behind the shoulder blades. Nice, deep, full breaths. And then standing, facing the short side of the mat, hug a tree, act like you're wrapping your arms around the trunk of a tree. And then we're going to step back in a lunge, finding a focal point, pull the thumbs back, open the heart, open the throat, and then step back, hug a tree, and lunge again. Now on the other side, open up, pull those thumbs back, nice deep breath. Now just move at your own pace, balancing, breathing, opening that hip flexor, getting the legs to move, opening up the front to the back. The back and the front, the chest. Oh. The back on the hug of the tree, breathe. And the front on the lunge, pulling the thumbs open. Oh. Great. Now standing in that mountain, roll those shoulders again. Oh, get rid of any of that stress. Gently take the hands either straight down in front and clasp them together or in the back. And let's look right and left. Looking right and left, taking a nice deep full breath. And then ear to shoulder, stretching through that neck on each side. Now we're back on the short side and we're gonna reach back, stretch back. So here what we're gonna do is inhale, reach the arms, and exhale, pull the knees straight on 10 times. Inhale, reach, exhale, pull, sucking in the abs. So blow the air out and suck the abs in at the same time. When you pull, that's gonna work that deepest layer of abdominal, that transverse abdominal, when you blow the air out and suck the abs in. And after 10, switch sides. Inhale, reach up, use your focal point for balance. Engage the abs, the back, the glutes, the pelvic floor, and the inner thigh. Bend that back knee, get into that hip flexor. Let the breath be your guide on when to move. Great. Switch back to the first side. Now this time we're going to reach to the front, but when we pull, we're going to rotate. You can add a little dumbbell here, a light dumbbell in the hands if you'd like. All right, so inhale, reach, find that lunge, open that hip flexor, and then exhale, rotate 10 of those. shake that off a little bit, and then switch sides. Use that focal point, breathe through it. Great. Now let's go nice and wide on the long side of the mat. Take the knees out, knees and toes out wide, the legs wide, so that when you shift your weight back and forth, neither knee goes out past the toe. And let's take one arm and just kind of flow with that. Just get that arm and shoulder to move. Breathe. Then let's take that moving arm and go up and over. So extend the leg and the arm on the same side of the body. Nice deep breath. Let's flow again. Now moving the other arm. And then let's straighten that leg and that arm. Oh, reach, stretch, breathe. Great. And then we'll go down, bend the knees, and then come up, straighten the arms up. So I've heard this pose called Moon Goddess, and then this one Star. So we'll go from Moon to Star, or Moon Goddess to Star, whatever you want to call that. And then you have the option next to go from this bent knee, bent elbow position to a balancing star. So we'll go down in the center, make sure the knees don't go out past the toes, extend out, balancing star, breathe, focus, squeeze those legs but don't lock the knees. We're going to do one more on each side, or make sure that you're even. Come to an even spot, and then legs are still wide. Turn one foot to the short side of the mat, turn the back foot at an angle, bend that front knee. So we're going into Revitalizing 2. Make sure the knee is over the heel, the hips and shoulders are open to the long side of the mat. Reach out, stretch out, and then we can flow a little bit into reverse, working towards that side angle. Just flow and breathe and move a little. Inhaling, exhaling, opening up, lengthening, breathing. Great. Turn the knees and toes back to the long side of the mat, and go back to your Moon Goddess and Star, or Moon Goddess and Star balance. Squeezing those leg muscles, keeping the core tight. Remember, your core muscles are your abs, back, glutes, pelvic floor, inner thigh. Keep all those nice and strong. Keep that breath flowing. And then make sure you're even, and then we'll turn those feet, working into that Virabhadrasana or Warrior 2. Make sure the hips and shoulders are on the long side, open to the long side. That front knee is pointing to the short side with the toes, reaching through those arms, and then flowing. Breathe, open up, work at your own pace. You can go slower, you can go faster, you can make adjustments. Great job. All right, so then let's heel toe the feet in, just warming up those feet and ankles a little bit more, strengthening them, moving through them. Come back to mountain. Let's meet in the short side. Now grab a drink of water anytime you need it, but right now is a great time to grab a drink before we go to the ground. So always sip on that water, especially if you need it. It's time to really start Bring in the water. The earlier the better, and the more frequently the better. All right, so we're in our short side of facing our short side of our mat. Take a couple ah breaths where you inhale nose and exhale AH. Let's inhale up and exhale, dive down, bend the knees, stomach on the thighs. Bend the knees as much as you can, trying to get the stomach on the thighs. That's going to help protect this low back and isolate the hamstring. Breathe. We're going to bend and straighten those legs. Trying to keep the stomach on the thighs, bending and straightening the legs. Then slide the hands up to either the shins or the middle of the thighs. Do a little standing cat-cow. Really tuck in the abs, tuck in the glutes, the pelvic floor. Blow the air out when you suck in the abs. And then kind of neutralize the spine and then suck it in again, blowing all the air out. And then put the stomach back on the thighs, hands on the earth. Walking the feet back into down dog. Spreading the fingers, middle fingers forward, all four corners of the palms on the earth. And we're going to inhale, down dog. Exhale into arm plank. Inhale, down dog. Exhale, arm plank. Moving and flowing at your own pace. We're not locking the elbows. And drop to all fours. Push back into Balasana or Child's Pose. Nice deep breath there. Option to bring the hands back by the body and just breathe into the back, opening up that back from the inside out. Let's lift the head and bring the hands on the floor by the knees, and then maybe into the thighs if it feels okay. Trying to stretch the tops of the feet, the shins, the knees, the quads. Only do what feels good to you there. There's a lot of things that can restrict us in this pose, so I want you to listen to your body, take your time. If it feels okay right away, you can go back into it farther. If not, don't go into it yet. Option to pick the hips up, open the throat without kinking the neck. So we want to open but not kink the neck back. And then we'll all come up on the knees, and if you need extra padding for the knees, you can just grab that mat and double it, slide the knees on top of there. So holding the core tight, so abs, back, glutes, pelvic floor, and inner thigh all engaged. This is where you could use that squeeze object between the inner thighs. And you could hold a light dumbbell out here in front if you wanted to, and then just lean back and hold in a Z stretch. Keep the core strong, breathe, keep the shoulders down away from the ears, hold those ab muscles tight. Now we're going to inhale and reach back on one side, open up, and then come back to the center, and then the other side. Again, each side. Great job. Let's go back to all fours. Cat-cow. You're going to use gravity to really suck up the abs and work the abs against that gravity. So inhale nose, and then exhale mouth and suck up the abs. Inhale nose, exhale mouth. Great. Then let's lift opposite arm, opposite leg in bird dog. The hands like you're going to shake someone's hand. The base hand is underneath the shoulder. The elbow is not locked. Now we're going to tap and lift 10 times. Tap and lift. Reach out, stretch out. And then we'll switch. Great job. Come down to the elbows underneath the shoulders, and then down onto the belly. Reach back through the toes. Push up the chin parallel to the earth, shoulders in the sockets, and just stretch that low back. A gentle back bend here. Option to curl one foot in and then the other. Working on that low back where it gets tight. If you've been sitting in a car or a plane or on the couch, at a desk, those hips get very tight. So a little supported back bend, holding the core muscles tight. And then with the elbows underneath the shoulders, you can just stay on the knees and hover the hips off the earth, trying to have a pretty straight back here. You might even be able to get it up a little bit parallel to the earth, but a diagonal line from the knee through the top of the head is fine. Or curl the toes under. Now we do want our back parallel to the earth in a full plank. From the heels through the hips, through the shoulders, through the head. It's a slight diagonal line, but pretty much that spine parallel to the earth. Holding the abs tight. Elbows underneath the shoulders. We do not clench our fists together. Holding that plank. Breathing. Then we're going to inhale the hips up in dolphin pose. And exhale down back into that elbow plank. Inhale dolphin. Exhale elbow plank. Give me a few more. Then drop to the knees. Push back into that child's pose or push the hips back to the heels. You can put the head down. You can have the arms extended. You can have the arms back by the feet. Do what feels good to you. Nice, deep, full breaths. All fours, cat-cow. Bird dog again. Now this time we're going to pull elbow to knee underneath instead of tapping. So you're going to balance a little bit more, suck in those abs, blow the air out. So inhale, reach, exhale, pull. 10 of those, or up to 10. Then we're going to get off the hands and knees. Oops, sorry, go before. Oh. 8, 9, 10. And the other side. Great job. Now let's lie on our back. So we're going to take a moment and get our back used to the earth, or give it some adjustments for the earth. Lie on your back. Pull the shoulders away from the ears, knees bent, and gently rock those knees side to side. Work through any tension or stress in that back. And then bring the knees to chest, and then put the feet back down, lift the hips, and lay the legs down. So if you ever feel like your hips are off, or they're not in alignment, or they're off a little bit, you can do this to help reset them. So it's knees to chest, and then bridge pose, feet on the floor. Keep the natural arch of the neck. Push the hips up, push those feet into the earth, and then lay those legs flat in the corpse. And just let those hips get into their right position. Now with the arms down by the sides, let's bend the knees, get the shins parallel to the earth in tabletop pose, holding the core tight. We want the knees to be at the hip level or beyond, not into the chest to actually make the core work. We're gently pushing the head into the earth, but you could put your hands behind the head and just hover the head off the earth, keeping the natural arch in the neck, squeezing glutes, pelvic floor, inner thigh, abs and back, natural arch in the low back. Option to extend one leg and bring it back in, alternating single leg kick out. Great job. And then feet on the earth and open the knees into cobbler's pose. And then back to rocking the knees side to side. Warming up and loosening up that low back. Now come to the center, cross one ankle over one knee, and whatever leg is on top, drop both knees in that direction of the top knee. Nice deep breath, push the head into the earth, and then switch sides. Crossing the ankle, pulling that knee in one direction. Now if you found that one was tight, you could repeat that one side just for like a couple extra seconds, just a little extra if you noticed one was tighter. Then let's come back to the tabletop. You can just hold tabletop. Option to have the head off the ground, that's up to you. Option to double leg kick out, extending those legs, holding the core tight, keeping the spine neutral, squeezing the inner thigh, glutes, pelvic floor, abs and back. And then let's bring the legs in and make like a teardrop shape. Walking those legs up, the hands up the legs, making like a teardrop shape. And then put the head down, cross one ankle on one knee, pull that in, stretching that hip rotator. Nice deep full breath. And switch sides. And let's switch these again. These get really tight. Let's do this 3 times and holding about 10 seconds. Great. And then let's roll over and move back into that Sphinx. Elbows under the shoulders. Option to curl both feet in towards the head, or you can just do one. Try to make those hips nice and even. You can curl both feet in, trying to get the chin parallel to the earth, or you can go to Dhanurasana or bow pose. Flex those feet if you get hold of it. Squeeze every muscle in the body except the chest. We're opening that chest and breathing into the chest and the front of the ribs, holding the abs tight and squeezing every muscle in the body. You can release it and go back into it a few times just to get things to loosen up a little bit more. Great. And then push up, maybe into a cobra, or push back into a child's pose. And then if you want to double up that mat again for your knee, you can. We're going to step forward into a lunge, sink this hip. Whatever leg is back, we're going to take that into a tricep stretch. Nice deep breath. Feeling a little more awake than when we started, and we'll switch sides. And then switch again back to that first side. Now this time, take the rib cage on the thigh. Take the outside hand and wrap it around the underneath side of that thigh. Use the other hand just for balance and support. Sinking into this hip flexor in the back leg, but then straightening this leg, picking up the toes, and feeling that stretch shift into that front hamstring. Keeping the rib cage on the thigh is going to help isolate that hamstring, and it's going to help protect those low back discs. Nice deep full breath, and then we'll switch sides. So get into that hip flexor, open that up, wrap this outside arm around the front leg, and then work on straightening that leg. Great. So let's work our way back up to standing. Take your time getting there. Back up to standing. We'll finish standing. Take your time, especially if you get dizzy or you just need extra time. We're just going to breathe here in a mountain pose. If you're still holding stress in your shoulders, move through those shoulders. If you're feeling it in your low back or your hips, move, move, move. Oh, breathe, stretch, open. Oh, gosh. You can cross the ankles and open that side body. You can just stand in mountain and breathe. What do you need in this moment? You can work on those tight areas. Welcoming the day, preparing for the rest of the day, feeling a little bit more loose, a little bit more open, blood flowing to all the muscles, the joints have all moved. You might move the wrists a little bit, balance on one foot, roll the ankles, completing those small joints, and then hands to heart center. Namaste, my friends.